Now let's explore the difference between enable load and include and report refresh options that are part of your query. So what is a query? In the case of Power BI desktop, when you click on the Power Query Editor, if you go to Power Query Editor, how do you go there? Click on the transform data in your home ribbon. Already data are loaded. So all the tables, whatever you see it, see as I explained in the last session, in the previous session, as we have seen, irrespective of the type of the file, whether it's a JSON file or whether it's an Excel file or text file or CSV file, once you load the data into Power BI desktop, it will be considered as a table. Okay, and when you open the Power Query Editor, all these tables are considered as queries. All these tables were considered as queries. That's what we discussed. Fine. So there is no confusion here. Okay, so let's say here fact sales. Here you can see fact sales, the same table here, but we call Power Query Editor. It considers all the tables as queries. Fine. So now what we are going to do is we will take a look at a simple one. Yeah, yesterday we looked at the merge also, right? So different types of merge, left outer join, right outer join. And what I am going to do is now okay, for example, we will do the append once again. I think I opened some other report file, Power BI file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do append one more time. This is the Excel file. Alright, I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to load another file. Yeah, both of them same only. I'm going to say foreign sales, right? So okay, I have loaded two Excel files, two different Excel files, and the Excel file names were something like this. Just let me just refer this one, table 1, table 3, right? So here I just look at this one, table 1. It considers them as a table 1. No, not this one. This is a different thing. Yeah, the foreign sales, right? So something like foreign sales. Yeah, foreign sales and foreign sales too. So since though the Excel file name was append 1 and append 2, two Excel files we loaded here, but each Excel file we have a tab in a subsheet called foreign sales, right? So this one belong to append 1 Excel file, and this one belong to second Excel file, the append 2, right? So this one. So if I see here, if I click on this, I can see all the columns that belong to this. And next one is the second one, append sales 2, right? So what we need to do is see all these columns, up to 3 columns, product sales currency, product sales currency. Up to this, the column names are matching, right, for the two files, two queries. if you look here, for this one and this one, in both these table, the three columns are same, column names are same, and the order of the column also same. Number of columns are not same. Okay, what I am going to do is, I am going to rename this as date, because if you wanted to append one file data with another file's data, number of columns should be same and the order of the column should be same and the data type should be same. And the column name should also be same. Look here, the date. Only then, so date 1, I changed it to date. How did I change it? Just click on the name of the column name, double click on it. Right, so now it is in the rename kind of mode. So now you just type it, whatever name. Earlier it was date 1, I renamed it as date. That's it. And I just go to this file. Here date is there. Up to this, the order is correct. Product, sales, currency, date. Okay, product, sales, currency. Okay, currency. Okay, it's correct only, right? Yeah, date. And location is there, but this column is not there here. So in this case, what you need to do is, what we will do is, we are going to remove this column for the sake of consistency. In this table, product, sales, currency and date is there, and same column should be there and same data type should be there in the second file also. Only then, if you, and again same number of columns, it will make sense. Even if you have extra column, still it does the appending. That is what we have seen it yesterday. But this doesn't make any sense. Supposing in this file you have 1 million record, and the second file you have 1 million record. In the second file, since you don't have location column, when you do append, still the location column will get included, but first 1 million record, the value for the location will be there. The second data set for this, since you don't have location, here it put null for the 1 million record. That is a overkill. So in that case, why do we need to have a location column, right? 50% of data, if you have missing values in this column, why do you need to have it? Either what you do is, in this kind of situation, you can ask the customer, hey, in this file, we don't have the location column. Can you give me the location column? If they say no, you remove the location and you append the data. And it depends on the report requirement. In your report, you want to create a chart which should show the breakdown of sales by location and by month or quarter, right? So in that case, obviously you need to have the location column. Let us assume that in this case the location column is not required, and I removed it. Product, sales, currency, date, and the next file also product, sales, currency, date is there. Okay, now I just little bit tweaking. I just I did some kind of data pre-processing before appending the data. What is appending the data? For the sake of those did not attend yesterday's session, look here. This is my foreign sales. This is from file 1 and file 2 is the second one, right? So I wanted to, the file 1 data, with that the file 2 data will get merged row wise, right? It will get inserted and then we will get a single file. The single file will have the data from both these files. It will simply merge these two files row wise and then it will create a new thing. Okay, now I am going to select the append queries. You will find append queries under the home ribbon. At the extreme right corner you will find it. Instead of using this one, I am going to use append queries as new. So here I am going to say foreign sales and second one is foreign sales 2. These two files I want to combine it. If you want to combine or merge more than two files or append, right? So you have another option is available. Since in our case we have only two files are there, we want to combine these two or merge these two files row wise, click on OK. Now it got combined. So good. So there are no issues. Everything is fine. No error, no empty, nothing. It's good. The next step is I'm going to rename this as some meaningful name. So let's week. Let's Jan month sales, something like that. Jan 2022, something like that. So next what I'm going to do is, I don't need these two files, isn't it? Now I combine these two files data into a common query, right? So I combine these two queries using append. So whatever the data was there here, whatever data was there got merged, right? So here in this case, this file has everything in it. So now what I'm going to do is, I just right click on it. We have two options here, enable load and include in report refresh. So in this case, we have lot of queries are there on the left side, if you see, right? So calendar 2, students, course, dim prod, many queries are there. In real time scenario, you may have to use many tables. Obviously, many queries will be there in the transform. In the case of transform, right? So the Power Query Editor. So here we could see the two options, right? So first we'll take a look at what is report refresh. Include in report refresh. See, whenever the data updated in the CSV file, see now we have loaded these two CSV files. Whenever the data get updated in the CSV file in my Windows system, so you loaded the data into Power BI. Later on, somebody goes and insert the data in your CSV file, in your Windows Excel file, right? Right. So in case of any update in the source file, that data is going to be updated in the data model as well. So when you enable include in the report refresh, right? If the data is relatively small, it will not take much time. For example, in this sales file, so this is once you load it into the Power BI desktop, and later point, let's say tomorrow, if you are going to say today you loaded the data here for foreign sales and foreign sales too, and tomorrow if you are going to add some more records in the operating system file, so here I have append. So in this file, whatever data as of now we have it got loaded. Once it gets loaded, so that is available as part of your Power BI desktop, and then later on, right? So let's say tomorrow I'm going to insert 4 records. These newly inserted records will not be available in your Power BI desktop because it is an outdated one. Yesterday only you have loaded. Today we inserted few new records. These newly inserted records will not be available. In order for this to be made available, you need to go to the home tab and then click on refresh preview. Okay, so in that case what will happen is, whatever the records that you have newly inserted in the Excel file, right, so that one will come into effect. That one will also get loaded into a Power BI desktop. See here now I mistakenly pressed refresh preview. Okay, refresh preview for this one, right? Refresh all, if I give, all the files will get refreshed unnecessarily, take a lot of time. So this one got refreshed. Okay, for testing purpose, what we will do is I'll just put something like this is, let's say this is my today I'm going to insert some new record. Big number we'll put it. Currency is something like CAD, Canadian dollar, and we'll put some data here. Sorry, that's all. I'm going to save it. File, save. After loading this Excel file into Power BI, now I am inserting a new record here. In order for this new record to be made available here, you need to click on the refresh preview. Look here, the new record got inserted. Only after clicking the Which one? Only after clicking the refresh it is working now, right? The new record got inserted, got refreshed here. So newly inserted record Phillips 2393, right? It got inserted. But if you disable this one, if you unselect this one, for example, if you unselect this one, what will happen is, look here, whatever the newly inserted records in your Excel file will not get refreshed when you click on the refresh button, right? So that is that, that is the reason why this needs to be enabled. This needs to be enabled. See, now the question is, when should I enable this one, or when should I select this one, when should I unselect this one? This is, though, the concept, the idea behind these two options are, very simple, but it has, serious impact on the performance. You need to remember this one. When you work on the real-time scenario, you are going to work with the huge amount of data. Let me just check if the recording is in progress. Good, okay. The huge volume of data. In that case, if you unnecessarily enable or select this option for all the queries, it will take a lot of time. It will have a serious impact on your development productivity. For each query, if it takes 8 hours, what will happen? You will not be able to complete your task today. Your manager will run after you, right? Hey, why you are taking a lot of time? So what you do is, tables like product table, this table will not undergo any changes. Let's say you are working for some company. In that company, they rarely introduce new product. So in that case, this table doesn't require load, right? So you don't have to load this one every now and then, right? These are the static table. We say it's a static table or master table or dimension table. For this, for such tables, you don't need the data refresh on it. You don't have to enable this one. That's what I'm trying to say. So sometimes it is working, sometimes it is not working. Okay, let it be there. You got it. So in that kind of situation, it is not required. Okay, but once you unselect it, and whatever the newly inserted records, whatever the changes made to your Excel file in your Windows operating system, that will get refreshed. That's it. Okay, the next one is this one. I just come here. Another option is enable load. What is enable load? What is the difference between these two? This one you understood. Whenever you make insert any new data in your operating system file, in order to keep your data up to date in your Power Query editor or in your Power BI desktop, you need to enable this one. Fine. So what is this one? Enable load. So in this case, look here. I have used these two files, foreign sales 2, to produce this file. This file has the data of these two files. These two files, I don't need it any longer. So in that case, what I do is, I am going to unselect it. The moment when I unselected it, the font, the font for this one became italics, and I don't need this one also. Okay, he don't do this one. Okay, so in that case, what will happen when you unselect the enable load? These two queries will not be available in your report canvas. Okay, which means I don't need this any longer, right? So now my job is, this is kind of a temporary file, right? So I have used it temporarily to combine. Once I combine this, I'm going to use henceforth this is the file only. Hence I don't see. In that kind of situation, you can click on, you can unselect the enable load. So in that case, what will happen is, it will save your data refresh time. And also refreshing of the visual, right? It will save your data refresh and refreshing of the visual also. So in that case, right, it is recommended for you to uncheck the enable load option. See, these two files temporarily I used it to produce this file. Then why do I need this one? So unselect this one. In the case of include refresh, right? So include report refresh, where here we have seen it. So I know very well my product table will not undergo changes. No one is going to insert the data in the product table on a daily basis. Because we know very well for the last 2 years we have been selling 10 products only or 20 products only. Rarely we may have to enable this one, right? So once in a year. So in that case, why do you need, let's every once in 6 months only we are going to launch new product. In that case, why do you need to reload or refresh these files whenever you click on this one, right? Whenever you click on the refresh preview, so this one, even if you click on refresh all the files will not get reloaded, because already the data we know very well, this will not undergo any change. It's static table. Hope you understood the difference between these two options, enable load and include and report refresh. So when you click close and apply, so you will find the value only in this one, and then when you click on refresh in the home page also, right, you will not find any issues. How many rows can be appended? There is no limitation as of now. Okay, as I told you, there is a limitation with it depends on the licensing. If you go for premium license, or if you are not using the premium license, you just downloaded the the non-licensed software, right? So you will have 1 GB only per file, as I told you in the first session, right? So because of a license, you cannot. So if you go for higher version of the license, like a premium license, premium SKU, you can store, it depends on the licensing, okay? It is limited with your licensing option, okay? Otherwise, there is no limitation when it comes to this one. The file size should not exceed 1 GB after compression, okay? Hope you understood this option. Next, what I am going to do is I am going to continue with the custom column, how to create custom column, how to create conditional column, and what is column from examples, right? So and then followed by this, we'll take a look at the custom function. So how do we create the, okay, so before that, let us validate. I just clicked on the refresh. Can we see product table is getting refreshed here? Dim product is waiting for other queries. Yeah, let us wait for some time. I think I put more, it will be overkill. For demo purpose, I should have used lesser. Still the dim product is being refreshed. Or dim product I have taken from SQL Express, right? So that is one problem. Okay. So if you have imported the data from your SQL server, the same story. In the SQL server database, today let's say I inserted new records, few new records. In that case, what will happen is that one also will get refreshed, okay? I just go and check once again. I think I did not unselect that one, right? The foreign sales was not refreshed. How many of you noticed, right? It was not refreshed. Good. And the dim product, let me just go. Yeah, see here I did not do anything. And then if I click close and apply, and before that, let's see, errors in sales W04. So anyhow, I'm going to remove this one. Delete. For the time being, I'm going to remove sales W04. We don't need sales W04. Delete. For the dimension product, I just disable this one, unselected this one, so that it will not get refreshed. Now I just use the close and apply. Dim product still, yeah, dim product load is happening. Okay, let me refresh one more time. See, now foreign sales is not there. Okay, and what about the product table, dim product? I do it on this. It happened since it's all refreshed, right? So okay, so it runs like anything. Look here, the product table is not, it's not refreshing it, right? The product table was not refreshed. Good. So in that time we can save, right? So since we unselected that one, they include report refresh, it is saving our time a lot. So timing is very critical, right? So you need to make sure that, that's why you need to understand the purpose of each table, and also you need to do the data profiling, and you need to understand which table needs to be refreshed when, and which table we are not supposed to refresh it. So the dim product, anything start with dim, right? So it's all master table, dimension table. In general, it will not undergo a lot of changes. But when it comes to banking customer, dim customer, dimension customer table, every day new customers will be coming in, right? So in that case, you don't have any other way out. You have to refresh. You need to select, include, report, refresh in that kind of situation, because every day new customers are coming. Try to find out which all tables that you need to unselect, include, report, refresh. As much as possible you do it, so that you can save time. There is no hard and fast rule. Okay, we need to use common sense. That's it. Product table, it will not undergo changes. And a location, we sell the products only in India. So in that case, we know very well, right? So we are not going to sell it in other countries. Again, if you are saying, right, only specific state in India we are selling the product, hence the location dimension will not undergo any changes at all. So in that case, you unselect that option. Okay, you don't have to refresh unnecessarily. So when you click on refresh, what will happen is it will reload the entire data once again. That's a overkill. Okay, next we will take a look at the custom column. I'll go here. Custom column is if I want to add any new column to a table within this Power Query editor, it is possible. Fact sales is there. Review me up to 2 days old. Okay. Let's say I want to create I just go to add column ribbon, and then I just select custom column. Click on the custom column. Here what I am going to do is I am going to say the sales amount. I just say the net margin. So my manager wants net margin to be computed. It should be made as part of my report. Sales amount minus, what I am going to do is I am going to say the cost price into quantity for each line item. So I am going to use parenthesis. Let's say this is my net margin, okay, and discount also, right? So next what I am going to do is I am going to subtract it by the discount. So anyhow, let's not complicate this. We will use a simple one. So this one will give me the cost price, the cost of goods sold, and this is my sales amount. In simple term, right? Selling price minus cost price. That is the one will give you profit, isn't it? So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. It will give me the net margin for each and every line item. It gives me the net margin. Fine, look here, new column got created. It's pretty simple. So this is a derived variable. It is also called as a derived variable. And so here this is the logic we use. Behind the scene, the Power Query editor, it generated the M script on our behalf. Got it? Okay. So next one is, this is a very simple one. Okay, but this logic will be given by your customer. So you have a design document. It will be given to you all. The design document, they would have mentioned everything. The business logic, we call the business logic. How do you compute the net margin? What business logic you used it? This is the business logic dictated by my customer. Hence, we have implemented this, right? Since the business logic is already available, sometimes, right, the business logic is not, business logic is available, but to implement the business logic, it will not be a straightforward one. For example, cost price is not available in this table. You need to do a lookup on the product table to get the cost price for each product, and then you need to multiply the cost price which you are bringing it from your product table to your fact sales table, and then you need to multiply this one. And again, there are some cases, even the business logic, right, to implement the business logic, you may have to join more than one table. You need to look up on multiple tables. You need to, so you just think for illustration purpose, how to create a custom column. Now you understood. And how did we create it? Based on the existing column, right? So these two columns are, all these columns are available in this table itself: sales amount and cost price into quantity. In simple term, based on the existing columns, we implement the business logic in the case of custom column, or we create a new column based on the existing columns. The existing columns can be available in the same table, or it can be available in other table also. Remember that. Next one is, we have something called conditional column. Look here, conditional column. So I want to create some kind of bucketing or something like that. So I'm going to click on the condition column. So I say I'm going to create some categorical variable. So here also I'm creating a new custom column, but based on some condition, I'm going to do it here. Or we'll say, price bucket. Column name, I say the price is available, right? So here the list price. List price equals, so here the first one, if condition, right? If list price, the operator, when you click on this drop down, you will find various options. The list price is less than, if the list price is less than, I think I cannot go back here since I opened this dialog box. Okay, less than, 5. I'm going to say type it low. So the price bucket is low here, right? So next class I'm going to add one more condition. The same list price. List price is greater than or equal to 10, or greater than or equal to 5. I just say it is a medium, something like that. I'm going to click on OK here. Price bucket, look here. So in this case, we can, what I do is you can, rearrange the column name also. I just, look here, you can move the column from here to here. One place to another place. Just for our comparison, I just put this one. The condition, everything is matching here or not. The medium, okay, since the condition is, look here, the condition is here, right? So you can click on this one also. You can price bucket, cost price, everything. Anyhow, we can go and check it here also in the advanced editor. Look here, list price is less than 5, then low. List price is greater than 5, then it is medium. Right? This is greater than 5, obviously it is all medium. And now let us click on this drop down. So we could see only medium is there, right? So none of the products price are less than 5. So what I am going to do is, so I just go and make changes in the advanced editor itself. Slowly, gradually start make changes to this advanced editor itself. So we have something called let block in block. In the let block, you can see variable definition. So these are all the variables. In Power BI, query editor, the variables we can declare it this way only. The variable name should be prefixed with hash and followed by the hash. The variable name you need to specify it, but the variable name should be enclosed by double quote. And then on the right side we are using a lot of functions, table.add column, table.add column, but you don't have to do anything. Simple thing, we come here and then we see less than, let's 60, then low. And if I go and say else if list price is greater than or equal to 60, I'm going to say medium, right? So in that case you can write one more condition also. The one advantage here is, here you can use AND condition. If the list price is greater than or equal to 60 and less than 80, then medium. Else if the list price is greater than or equal to 80 or greater than 80 and less than greater than 80, whatever the price is greater than 80, I call it a high, right? You can, that way it is easier here, okay? But in the dialog box, if you want to give AND, right, you need to spend some time to understand that one. Look here, now we just made a change. Anything less than 60 is low price. Why do I need to create a bucket here? What do you mean by bucket? Bucket is, in this case, right, it is also called as a binning or bucketing, right? So binning or bucketing, all these terms are same, okay, which means it's a categorical variable, right? So based on some category, we want to do some kind of analysis. So let's say in the medium price bucket, what is the overall sales and what is the net margin? In the low price bucket, what is the overall sales and the profit, net profit, right? So it doesn't mean if the price is very high, your net margin is very high, right? Sometimes the product cost is very high, but the margin is very less. Some cases the product price is not so high, but the margin is very good. And also the quantity, if you see the number of quantity, right, the sale is more frequently, customers are purchasing certain products. Maybe it is essential products, they have to buy these essential products frequently, but the cost is cheaper. Since they are buying more quantity and the price is less, the net margin is also more, okay? Sometimes you will get more margin also, some products, okay? It is not only generating the reports or your responsibility. Like this, you need to analyze and you need to explain the management, okay? They do not know the ABCs of Power BI or analytics. You need to create charts, everything, like bucketing. I did it, price bucket, right? So it will help them to understand, right? So get a complete understanding, okay? So with low price we are getting this one. So sometimes what will happen, it will help them to make the right decision at the right time. So let's say some products or some categories, even though the price is very high, the profitability is very less. But if you look at the operating margin and whatever the net margin we are getting it as part of that, right, high cost product, it is not much. It is not worthwhile selling those kind of products. End of the day, in your warehouse you are stocking up more, your money is locked, more money is locked, but profitability is not much. So those are the things, right? Stories. As a data scientist or data analyst, right, you need to help the management to make the right decision. You can also recommend them what kind of changes they can make, right? So you can go ahead and do that from the business point of view. So for that you need to do extensive analysis. Again, you need to break down this by category or subcategory, and then in which subcategory which products price are very high and why the profitability is not, net margin is not much. So in that kind of situation you can probably suggest the management, hey, the net margin, we have another formula for operating margin, and you compare this one and that one, right? So more or less same, and the margin is also not wafer thin. Then we can tell them, right, probably we can discontinue this. Or the other option is probably we can find out in which location we can sell more, or is there any campaign is required to promote this product. 3 different options. Okay, fine. The next one is, now you understood how to create a conditional column. So so you need to go to the add column. Here you will find conditional column. Already we created a custom column. Next, conditional column, we have created it, right? So with conditional column, it is pretty simple. You don't require any scripting background. Simply specify your column name, net margin. If the condition, right, you select which column you want to. So you want to see this one, right? Sales price. You want to create a price bucket. List price is greater than or equal. You define all the conditions here. So and then here you have something called, if you don't want, if let's say you mistakenly delete it, and you want to move up and down, right? This second line condition should go first, and all these options are available. And you have else option is also available. If the condition is true, do this one. Else option is also available here, right? So that option is also available. So in that case, right, if the condition, if the list price is equals this one, then you do this one. Else, do something else, right? So you specify some other condition also here. Okay, this is pretty simple. But some cases it is like I mentioned here. When you go to advanced editor, and here making changes little bit easier, right? So 60, look here, I just directly made a change here. Simply make the changes to the number, that's all. Somehow you became a programmer, right? So good. So done. We are done with this one. What I will do is, without fail, today's this report file, I will share it to you all. Okay, and you can use it and start practice it. And also you take a look at the logic what I used it. So what you need to do is, you need to download this PBAX file. The file name is demo PQ custom call function example. So you need to download this file. The extension of this file is .pbax. And then what you need to do is, you need to make sure that all these files, right, are available in your system. Okay, so how do you check that one? You just go to this one, the transform, not here, one second. Here also you can see, look here, fact sales, just click on the sales, right? Just adjust sales, you will find the gear icon. Go and see. So in my case, I'm using SQL Server, right? So instead of using, you might be asking, so I don't know SQL Server, I don't know how to load. You don't have to worry about. So instead you can use an Excel file. The fact sales.xlsx file itself available in the GitHub. So go ahead and download all the DIM product, fact sales. Instead of using SQL database, you can use Excel file. The reason why I have used the mix of both Excel file and SQL server databases, I want you to get the feel of how to use the combination of these two. Sometimes you might encounter some kind of limitations because direct query mode has some kind of limitations. Fine. So what I am going to do is switch tables to import mode. I'll import everything here so that you don't have to connect it. Yeah, so best thing, right, you have an option to switch from direct to import. In that case, the entire data from my SQL server will be loaded into my Power BI desktop itself. So in that case, you don't have to reload anything, right? We can save time. Fine. Okay, the next one is, So far we discussed about the custom column, condition column. Next we will take a look at something else called column from examples. This is a super cool feature, this one. Okay, really I like this feature. All of you must be liking this feature once I explain the concept of this one. So it allows the custom column from example features allows us to simply type examples of a desired output, column output. The M engine, the Power Query editor, has something called M engine. So that is the one generate the scripts, right? So when I right click and remove it, it automatically, even in the case of this one, look here, in the case of fact sales, if you click on this one, this one will get, the size will get reduced. If you wanted to see the commands, right, in detail, just click on this down arrow so that this one will get maximized. You click on this one will get minimized. Okay. So this one, the net margin, all these things, right? So when I use some formula, right? So here, conditional column. So what happened? Added conditional column. So this script was created by Power Query editor. There is something called M engine, M language engine. That is the one created this script on our behalf. We simply use the dialog box and we specify if the condition is to do, specify low, otherwise something like that, right? We specified that one. Okay, that we did it for the price column, right? Yes, price bucket. For this we did that one, the conditional column, custom column, custom column. In the case of custom column, we just specify the business logic. But in the case of condition column, we can specify, we can go one step further and then we can define the condition. If the price is less than 60, put low. More than this one, and again, depends on various conditions, right? That is helpful. But in this case, it is easier. For example, I just go to my customer table. What I am going to do is products. Okay, to help you to understand that, I will load the sales W04 now. New source, text as CSV. I just go here, I do the same thing here. Here use first row as it is because the column names are not meaningful, but the column names are available in the row, and I'm going to click on it one more time to make this first row as my column header. Right now, my column headers has some meaningful column names in it. Okay, fine. So this is what we have discussed in the last session. Next step is we will take a look at something like New Zealand, New York State. We have some state is there, and New South Wales. What I am going to do is, in this case, look here. I have a column by the name of country state. In this column, I have the combination of both the country and the state. In United States, we have a state called New York. In Australia, we have a new state called New South Wales. So you need to split the country separately and state separately for each row. How will you do that? In this case, for the state, for the entire state name and the country name and state name, right? Everywhere we can see space here. United space, state space, New space, York. So what I'm going to do is to split this. One option is we can use split column by delimiter. So what is the delimiter? Which one separates one word from another word? In this case, space. I can use space, but when I use a space, what will happen is United will go in a separate column, States will go in a separate column, New will go in a separate column, York will go in a separate column. Similarly, so in that case also fine, okay, at the end of the day I'm going to create 4 columns, 2 columns I'm going to combine it, and remaining 2 columns, if I combine it, the country will be available in one column and the state. But if you look at the second value, here the Australia's, here we see 1, 2, 3, right? So here also 1, 2, 3, also 3 spaces, but again you need to, but in this case Australia you need to separate, the country name is only one word, but whereas the country name here is 2 words. Even if you try all the other options that are available, split, right, number of characters, by positions, it will not work out. Sometimes what will happen is, it is very difficult to identify the logic, or you need to write complex script on your one to split these values. Customer will give you data something like that, they will tell you, I don't know what you are going to do, I want the country to be separated and state to be separated for all the records. But the data are not consistent here. United States, 2 different words are there, 2 words are there, whereas Australia only 1 word is there. You cannot split it, right? So what the other option we are left with is, this is the one, column from examples, from all columns, from selection, not from all the columns. I'm going to see this column, I selected it because I wanted to separate the United States, countries separately and states separately. Since based on the selection which I made it, I want to create a new column that is going to be my custom column. So along with this itself, I have created this one, the column 1. So in this case, I'm going to type here United States, only United States. Okay, let me see, let's see what happens. United States, but here when it comes here, right, so it puts something like this, Australia. I'm going to say Australia, and here also, right, so Australia, I am going to type something like a machine learning. So those of you are data scientists, right, so you must be knowing. Look here, I just typed 2 times Australia, and if you see down the line here, can you see any other Australia? Look here, we have another Australia record, right? Automatically, based on the examples that I have typed it here, with these examples, Power BI, Power Query Editor was able to learn the pattern. Okay, oh, wherever Australia is there, I need to take only that, I need to extract only that one. And wherever Germany is there, you just type it here. So Germany, but we don't have much Germany here. And New Zealand, look here. So I'm going to say New Zealand. New Zealand. So consider these two as a single word, and then what, that is what we are telling. So we are going to tell him one more time. When you see something like this, new space Zealand, you need to put New Zealand everywhere. See, Australia, United States, it was doing it correctly, and New Zealand, we don't have any other record, and but here United States is gone, right? So it has gone. Again, you need to type it one more time. States. If the volume of the data is very high, it will, even this one is also not much helpful. You need to use some other technique. Look here, I just typed 2 times only here. Earlier I typed it, since I typed in between the New Zealand, this pattern got, overridden by this one. So United States, look here, the rest of the values it put United States, but it doesn't make any sense here, right? So, but here it makes sense, United States, but here you need to specify Afghanistan. and we will see which one as United States. Look here, United States, here it is there, right? So wherever it is good, and Australia is still remain as it is. Tanzania, right? So likewise, if you specify it behind the scenes, all you need to just give the examples. Based on the examples, wherever United States, right, it automatically put United States. But obviously there are some mistakes will be there. It will not be exactly accurately it is replacing the value, but still you need to spend some time in typing this. But our job is pretty simple, just by typing few examples here. United States, only one time I typed it, automatically it put United for this one, but still there are some kind of inaccuracy, certain things. But Australia also, right, I typed it once and it automatically, look here, put Australia here I did not type it, right? Behind the scene, look here, it generates the M script. If country state equal to Australia news new Australia news, then Australia. Else if country state Australia, then Australia. It generates the M script automatically. It's pretty simple. Anyhow, I have another case study. With that case study, you will be able to understand how powerful this column from examples feature is. Okay. So in simple term, right, so the column from examples, it allows us to simply type examples of the desired output, column output, that's all, right? It generates automatically behind the scene the M script based on the examples that we typed it, and it extracts the data automatically. Look here, United States 0 also it is there. And here Afghanistan, look here, it's correctly it is there. And here Saudi, right, Saudi Arabia, you need to specify Saudi Arabia. We'll try one more example. This is Saudi Arabia and Brazil, right? So but here we don't see much columns here, right? So country state, yeah, here we need to see that. So here which one has United States? Look here, United States, it is there. And Germany, you need to specify Germany here. And again, so and then you need to create another custom column wherein you need to specify you need to train the state name. Yeah, if you find California anywhere else, you extract only California. So in that case, so this column will have the country name, and second column, if you specify type, let's say just against this column, right, if you have another custom column wherein if you type California, it will extract only California. Wherever California is there, it will put only California in the another column, and then later on you can rename this column as country and that column as a state column. I will share this, probably you can play around this. Okay, I am going to click on OK now. Let it be there, you can reference it. It's already one column is there, country separately. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I will leave it as it is so that you will be able to understand it is a column from examples, right? This one, fine. Next we will jump into something else called custom function. Function is very common in most of the programming language. Almost you take any programming language, function is there. Even SQL Server, RDBMS, and even if you take any programming, function is there. What is a function? First of all, function is a block of code, right? So it gets executed only when you call it. Only when you call it, it will get executed. So what are the advantages of a function? We can reuse the code, create once and reuse it as many times as you as you require it. With functions, we can increase the consistency and then we can reduce the redundancy. These are the advantages of function in general. It is not specific to Power BI or Power Query. It is common across all the programming, across all the RDBMS. Okay, even SQL Server, you can create a function. Okay. So I just write it here so that you can remember it, because you need to remember it, the function. So if something in the interview they ask you, right, what is a function? So what is a function? What is a function? It is a block of code. Function is a block of code. So it gets executed only when it is called. For example, those of you don't have programming background, right? For example, I have a function called hello function. Whenever we say function, right, you remember parenthesis should be followed by your function name. Function name can be anything, but you need to give some meaningful name. This naming convention, everything will be explained to you by your project leader or someone. Okay, so this is my function name and this is my parenthesis, which means if you see something, the open parenthesis and closed parenthesis followed by the name, right, which means a function. Okay, so in this case, let's say somebody wants to write a function. In that function they want to display the welcome to Power BI. They want to display this name, right? So in that case, if you write a function and if you type something like that, when you call this function, it will print this one only when you call. So in this case, only when you call this function, it will print this value. Supposing somebody is asking you to print this welcome to Power BI 1,000 times. Do you think you can copy paste this 1,000 times? So what we do is we use some kind of loop, right? So we use some kind of loop, and then in that loop we will specify this condition. That's all. Only one time, print something like that. Okay, so what will happen is some conditional space, right? So 1,000 until 1,000, print this value one after another. With just one or two lines of code, you are going to print it 1,000 times, or whatever the number of times that you want to print it, you can print it. So you have created a function only one time. You can use it as many times as possible by calling it. How do you call function name into specify? It will get called. I'll show you in Power BI. We have something called custom function. How to create a custom function with some examples, you will be able to understand. In Power BI, learning the how to create a function, all the things is also pretty simple. Okay, and next one is what is the advantage of function? Like I said here, right? So even if you want to print 1,00,000 times, or if you want to print 100 times, 100,000 times, just write 2 lines code. And if you call this function, and if you say the condition is right, so 200,000 times, right? That's all. It will keep iterate. It will go and print it, and then again it will come back to the control. Will come back to the condition. It will check, and then keep iterated and print as many times as you want it. Another example is, for example, you are part of the payroll department. You want to find out the net salary for each employee in your company. Let's say in the case of TCS, more than 5 lakh employees are there. Each employee every month you need to compute the net salary. So net salary, the formula. For example, you have the gross salary. Gross salary you have already computed, and the gross salary minus loss of pay. Simple, example is loss of pay. How many number of days you took leave, and if you subtract, right? For this you need to compute the per day salary, and then you need to subtract from this one. You will get net salary. This is the let's not focus anything else. Net salary is part of your function. Let's say my function name is also net sal. My function name is net sal. In that, the block of code is this one. What is the block of code? This is the block of code. Net salary is equal to gross salary minus LOP. What we can do is, let's say you have 2 lakh employees are there, right? Let's this is Rajesh and this is Ramesh. So when you call this function as part of your custom invoking function, automatically this function will get called for each and every employee. It goes and picks up each and every employee's gross salary and his loss of pay. If anything is there, it will pick up. Otherwise, it will put 0. Automatically, it will print the net salary for each and every employee. Once you specify the logic here, business logic, in this case, net salary equal to gross salary minus loss of pay. whenever the users, whenever your program, right, so calls this function, let's say my function is netSal function, right? The netSal function, you need to specify the argument, which all argument, gross salary, LOP, for each and every employee you need to pass it. That value will get substituted here. Net salary will be returned whenever you call this function for each and every employee. You assume that let's say in the case of TCS, 5 lakh employees are there. Each and every employee, if you have to manually compute the net salary, it will take a lot of time. Once you create this function with this logic, it can be called for each and every employee automatically, so that the net salary will be computed for all the 5 lakh employees in a matter of a second, right? So that's why I told you the advantage of function is create once, use it as many times as possible. Okay, and another advantage, that's why we call it reusability. If you speak to any software guy, they use this reusability. So what are the reusability? So I create a function called netSal. So with this, I have improved the productivity of my payroll team. All they have to do is just send the file. Automatically my program will invoke this function for each and every employee, and it computes the net salary in a matter of seconds, right? That's all. So that's why we call it reusability. The advantage of function is reusability, number one, and it will improve the consistency. Let's assume that you are doing it manually, right? 5 lakh employees, when you do it manually, there could be chances you might make some mistake, right? So there will be some kind of inconsistency. When you use a function once, right, it will increase the consistency. The other advantage, it will reduce the redundancy. Let's assume that if you have to do it manually in Excel, or if you have to do it manually, forget about Excel. So each and every line you need to copy paste this one, right? So gross salary minus LOP, gross salary minus LOP, you need to do it, right? So there is a redundancy, right? So it will reduce the redundancy if you use the function. Use a function, if you create a function, it is reusable, and it will increase the consistency, it will reduce the redundancy. You don't have to copy paste the time for this line, right? Logic for each and every employee, right? So only one line you specify it as part of your function. Simply you call this function as for each and every employee, this one will get executed. Okay, and when it comes to Power Query Editor, if you have to create a function, right, so the steps or something, you need to go to the advanced editor, and then you need to create our own let statement, and then we'll start everything from the scratch, and then we have to use something called invoke custom function in command. Okay, first step one is go to advanced editor, or you have something called click on blank query, and then there you need to create the function. Once you created the function, then you need to use something called invoke custom function. Okay, so there are different ways of creating it, but anyhow I discussed that also, right? So here you can use, you can go to advanced editor, you can create the function there, custom function, or you can click on blank query, there also you can create a function. But once you complete with creating your function by specifying the logic, your block of code, everything, so you need to use it, right? Only when you call that function, it will be useful. Let's say you create a function called netSal. You need to call it, right? Only when you call it, it will get executed. So that's where we have some invoke custom function. First create a function and then call the function using invoke custom function. That's it. These two steps, if you remember it, you are all set. We'll go to the Power Query Editor, and then we will create a simple function there. So I go to power query editor. Okay, okay, it's already there, right? Fine. So what I am going to do is, I just minimize this one because it shows so many things. So what we will do is, I'm going to see in the under this queries pane, right? I'm going to right click on it. This is one way of creating a function. So in the new query, if you click on blank query, see here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say equal sign, and then I'm going to say value x as number, next I'm going to say simply x into x. Okay, that's all. Look here, x as number, x is a data type, number data type, and then this is called rocket arrow. Okay, rocket arrow, or equal sign and greater than, you need to specify it. So next one is, you need to specify the block of code here, what logic you want to use it. Simple example I have taken it. For example, if I specify it square, I want to square the value. If I specify 10 here, so the moment when you create a function successfully, automatically it displays something like this. Okay, enter parameter for x. X is the parameter here. This is called your parameters. Whatever the value is specified, this 10 will get copied to x. So the x is having 10 now, right? This 10 will be passed to this one. So it will, see, 10 will be copied to this one, and this copied 10 value will be substituted here. So 10 into 10, when I click on invoke, 100. Right? So once see, look here, so only one line, right? Only one line here. I just copy paste this. Let me just do one thing here. This is not working now. Yeah, now it's working fine, good. So I just go here. So here, let's say I'm going to say 10 here, the same, or not 10. Now I'm going to say 20 here. When I click on invoke, it gives me 20 into 2400. Look here, I'm going to click on now my function name is query1. Look here, I have created a function by the name of query1 fx. When you find the fx symbol, which means a function, I create a custom function. It's pretty simple here, right? So I created this function only once. With the help of this function, I can square any value, right? If I say 10240, so 10240 into 10204, what it gives me. I don't have to do the calculation manually. Once you create a function, it can be reused as many times as it is possible. But you need to specify the right values. For example, I am going to say 3 or 4. So if this logic, right, so 4 into 4 will get multiplied, you will get 16. So now what is this rocket arrow and what is the equal sign, right? So now I'll explain it. So here, these 4, right, will get copied to this parameter. This is called parameter. The x is called your parameter. This value will get copied here, and this 4 will be sent to your block of code. This is your body, something like this is your body. Okay, so this 4 will be passed here, 4 into 4, right? This x is holding 4 here, and this x is also 4, right? 4 into 4, 16. How easy it is, right? If you want to perform any reusable or repeated logic, if you want to apply it, the simple example, net salary for each and every employee, if you want to compute it, that's it. You need to specify each employee's gross salary and loss of pay for each and every employee. Once you create, that's all, right? Simply call the function. In this case, let's see how this value get copied to this one. You need to click on this. I need to call this function. Only when I call this function, this value will get copied here. How do I call this function? Just click on invoke. Okay, so the 4 got passed to where? The 4 got copied, the 4, right? The 4 got copied only when I clicked on invoke, right? So writing a function is not sufficient, you need to call it. So by clicking on invoke, the function will get invoked, right? So so when you invoke it, what are the value is specified for this parameter, right? It will get copied here. So the x will hold 4, and this 4 will be passed to here. So 4 into 4 is 16. So and also you can have more than one parameter also. Y as number. I'm going to say y here. So I'm going to simply say, so look here, it is asking 2 values. Enter values for 2 parameters, because we have used 2 parameters here. So what I need, this is my logic. Or let's simple, I'll just put some meaningful name. Basic into base, or let's gross salary. I'll put that one, right? So that you'll be able to understand gross salary, and here LOP, loss of pay. Sorry. Gross sal minus LOP present. Sorry, here I by mistake I just taken that one. Fine. So here this value, whatever the value you type it here, that one will be copied here. Whatever the value specified LOP, that one will get copied here, and then it does this logic. Gross salary minus LOP. This one will return my net salary. So these two are called your parameter. Gross sal is a parameter, LOP is a parameter. But here you need to specify the data type. So this parameter as what data type? It's a number data type, a text data type, or it's a date data type. You need to specify it here. The logic, what you want to do it, you need to specify. This is your business logic. So here, if let's say if the gross salary is 1 lakh, something like that. Loss of pay is 5,000. Or let's use simple value. Okay, 1,000, 10,000, and the loss of pay is 5,000. So how much we should get? 5,000. So now when I click on invoke, this 10,000 will get copied here, 5,000 will get copied here, and these two values will be passed to this body, right? So here this is the body of your function. Okay, so here 10,000 minus 5,000. Only when you call a function, the value will get passed to that one. So look here, 10,000 minus 5,000 is 5,000. This is what is net salary. So here what I am going to do is, look here on this side, I am going to give some meaningful name. Calc net sal. This is my function name. Alright, fine. So next, this is how we can do it. Okay, and next what we will do is, we will create a custom function using which we can find out the age of a person. Alright, so there are 2 steps. The first step is you need to create a function, and then we need to invoke a function. Step 2. So when you invoke a function, you need to, before you click on invoke, right, you need to specify the values for each and every parameter, and then when you click on invoke, right, so what will happen? It will return the value. A function will return only one value. In the case of custom function, it will return only one value. Remember this. Fine. So now what we will do is, we'll create another custom function for you to understand better, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new query, blank query. Sometimes, right, you might find you will have some kind of unpleasant experience when you right click on query. I just do it one more time. If I want to create a custom function, there are two options are available. So the one option is, look here. So the thing is, let's right click on it, new query, and then blank query. And then what I do is, instead of doing it here, I just go to view, advanced editor. Here you can write the logic here. You can write the function logic here, right? So in this case, what is let and what is in? What is let? What is in? There are two blocks here. Let and in block is there. Okay, there are two blocks will be there, right? So for a M query, M script, two blocks will be let block and M block, right? So sorry, the in block, let block and in block. You need to specify the variables. You need to define the variables here. Okay, and the some variable names, with hashtag and double quotes, it will be there. End of the line will be your comma. Okay, don't worry, I'll show you. And then you can use functions here. Okay, so these two, the let and in, we can see it is in blue color, which means it's a reserved words. It's a keyword, right? So what we will do is, we'll specify some expression as part of this one. So here, let's I just press enter, double forward slash. If you want to specify the comment, so let's I want to compute the age. So the next one, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to specify some logic here. Here since it is going to be a custom function, I just press enter. On top of the let, I'm going to use a equal sign, and then I'm going to use some meaningful name here, DOB, rocket symbol. Remember, so in the query, I have typed it, I specify the data type, all the things, right? And then rocket symbol, followed by the rocket symbol, you need to specify the logic in your body, right? So here what I am going to do is, in the let block, I am going to create a result, something like that. I am create a variable. So date dot, you have a function called built-in function. See, date dot here is already available. Good. So with this, we can extract the year. So let's say you have something like date time and local now. So let's say date time. These are the functions written by, it is available already as part of your Power Code editor. You don't have to date time zone dot here local now. What is today's date, right? So I'm not going to specify today's date as it is. Instead, I'm going to use this function. This function, what it does is, right, you execute, you call this function anytime, it will automatically find out that specific days, or the day when you call this function, it will automatically find out that day's date. Okay, since we have used date dot here, irrespective of the, right, let's we are in 2021. Let's say yesterday was 31st December 2021 and today is 1st Jan. Yesterday, when you call this function, for this, the value, right, the 31 December. So here we are using here, since yesterday was 31 December 2021, since we are using year here, it will extract 2021 only, year 2021. And next one is date dot year function. We want to subtract year from year, right? Date of birth, today's year. Let's say today is 2022 year, and let's say you are born on 1987, 88, right? This is your actual date of birth. Here we need to specify date of birth, and here I'm going to say simply result. the let block, we specify our the block of code, right? This is, I call it block of code. This is where we specify the logic. Okay, take today's date and subtract the person's date of birth. Okay, and then return the age. Let's say year is 2022 and you're born on 2000, right? So in that case, what is the age? 2022, right? So now 22, it will return 22. So the in block will return the value. The result, see in this case, in the let block, the result will hold this expression's value. This expression, what it will return? The year minus date of birth year. Okay, and that value, let's say 22 years got stored here. You have to return it, right? So you need to print it. So in that case, in block is very much important. So whatever the value stored here, that will be printed using this one. So now the question is, this is slightly different from what we have seen it earlier. So that is different. I'll explain it later. Okay. So here I just specified the parameter. Followed with the parameter, I specified the rocket symbol. But this is mandatory. If you want to convert your script into Power Query script, this is also called the Power Query script or M script, into function, this is mandatory. You need to specify equal sign. This is syntax. Okay. And followed by the syntax, you specify the argument, rocket symbol. That means this is a custom function. So okay, I'm going to click on OK, done. Syntax, a token literal okay. When you see this one issue, double equal sign, right? It put one more equal sign. Don't worry about this. Remove that. Now my function has no error. How do you make sure that no error? So here it is not displaying any error, and you can see the parameter. It is asking for the parameter. See, pass the value for this, and what is the date of birth? We specify it here. Whatever the date of birth you specify, that will copy it here, and it will take today's year and your and date of birth year, subtract it, and it will print the result. Now we will see the date of birth. Let's say now I'm going to say 0105 year 2000. A person is born. Let's assume that. Okay. So I need to specify the value for the date of birth, because you want to see if you ask. Let's say if I ask you, hey, how can you please tell me my age? What is the first question you'll ask? Hey, give me your date of birth, man. Only when you give your date of birth, I can tell your age, right? How will you do that in your mind? So you will get my, let's say if I say my date of birth is this one. So what you will do is, in today's, what is today's, what is current year? Current year is 2022. And then this guy is born on 2000. So 2022 minus 2000, which means he's a 22-year-old, right? Similarly here also, in order to use this function, right? But here, with the advantage of this function is, you can call it as many times as possible by specifying any date of birth year. Reusability. Fine. I'm going to click on invoke. I'm going to call this function. When I click on invoke, this value will get copied here. That value will get passed here. So this one, this is a reserved word. Local now, it will automatically pick out what is the current year. Okay. Click on invoke. When I click on invoke, what happens is, to argumentative function which expects 1. So here date of birth, right? So date of birth is correct only. Date dot year, date, time zone, local now. Okay. Here I need to specify one more, because remember, date dot year is a function. Whenever you use a function, it should be started with open parenthesis and the closed parenthesis. Local now is another function, right? That is available as part of date time zone. Since I did not specify it, it was, though I did not specify, it was not showing total equal. Okay. Date dot year. Okay. Here it is not required. I specified that function for everything. Date, year, this is for this one and this is for this one. Okay. And token equal expected. Let in. Okay, let me just see the syntax here. So yeah, here it shows yeah, DOB only, right? So date dot year function DOB. This is correct only, right? So so equal sign DOB, okay, great, is correct only. Let result equal to date dot year, date time zone local now, it is fine only. Okay, let me just, okay, in block I put result here. Okay, let me do one thing. We will use the typical way of doing it. Okay, instead of using this one, right, I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I just create another function. New query. Here I just simply use blank query. Here I'm going to say DOB, and I'm going to use simple rocket sign. Here what I'm going to do is date dot year function. So date time zone dot local now function, local now in specify like this, and then minus date dot year and DOB. Fine. Here I'm not specifying all these things. Okay, I need to click on this equal sign. Make sure it's spelled correct. Date dot year was not okay. You need to specify correctly. Capital. That's a date dot year. You need to use. It's a case sensitive. Fine. So here I'm going to specify the date of birth. For example, 01/05 2022. Sorry, this guy is 2000 year born. If I invoke this 22, look here 22. So any of the let block, right, I will cover it as part of M script separately. This is simple function. So here what happened, what is current year? 2022. So what is date of birth? I specified, so he was born on 2000. So 2022 minus 2000, it was. So I have written the function only one time. So with this you can compute the age for any number of person, right? So I'm going to call this as age calc, something like that. Okay, age calc, some meaningful name I've given. So now I created a function, but here I have to manually type for each and every person. What I do is I'm going to click on the customer table. Here I have the date of birth for each and every customer, but we need to use this function to compute the age for each and every customer. Fine. So for that I just go to the add column. See, once you create a function you have to use it, right? But let's say in your company 5 lakh employees, or each and every employees you type their date of birth like how I did it manually, right? That is not going to work. So what I am going to do is I am going to click on invoke custom function. You are going to learn another thing here. So here I am going to say age of a person, and function query, look here, age calc, right? So that is what we have created the function name, right? Yeah, so sorry, what is the function name? Age calculate. This is the one we are going to call it. For this you pick up the date of birth from this column. For each and every employee this age calc will get applied automatically. Got it? So when I click on this, look here, for this guy the age is 22, Now you understood how powerful when you create a function, isn't it? Once you create a logic, only one line logic I've used it in that function, and I just created, when I clicked on invoke custom function, it was asking the name of the column. So in this case I've specified the age, and the function name is, I just scroll down, I'll show you the function name is age calc, function name, second thing, right? And then third one is, which column do you want to use this function to compute the age? Only these three parameters. You need to pass it. It it is showing the date of birth for each and every customer. Sorry, it took so we planned 9, right? 9, 10, 30, 1.5 hour. Okay, we have we'll spend some more time, right? 10 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up because it's already too late for you guys. Okay, I'm fine. So I stay awake night and all. So now you understood with these two examples how to create a custom function, but in the advanced editor how to create, probably I will tell you later. Okay, in the advanced editor, if you use more than one column, right? So anyhow, I have another example. Let us not spend all the time in custom column function itself. Next we will move ahead. I thought of covering the case study, but case study requires more time. Next one is we'll cover the query parameter. Next we'll jump into something else called query parameter. So now you understood what is parameter, the term parameter, which means you need to pass the value, right? You need to pass the value. In the case of function, we need to specify the value for the parameter, right? So that's what we have seen it. So now we'll see something else called query parameter. Okay, query. So what is the advantage of query parameter? It will enable the end users to reuse the report. Let's say you are a Power BI developer, okay, and you are the project leader, okay, for your project. In your project, 5 members or 5 developers are working. You are the project leader. Okay, you created the report, and then you share that report to your team members. What they do is, they need to pass the value to the parameter which you defined it as part of the report. For example, you have created a parameter by the name of location, okay, and when you share the report to your team member, so what they do is they specify the location name. Only based on the location and whatever they specify, they report, the charts that are part of your report will get refreshed based on the report name that you specified it. So in that case, what is the advantage here is, we are enabling the end users to view only the relevant data. I don't want the users to view all the data. Instead of saying project leader or team member, let's say you are a Power BI developer. This is a better example, okay? And you developed the report, and you want to restrict the users to use only to view the data that are view only the location that they intend to see it. Okay, the next one is, the parameters will be modified only by the model authors. You are the Power BI developer, you have a full control. If you want to change the parameter, you can change it, right? If you want to add more parameter, or if you want to modify the parameter, you can do it. For example, today a person name of John, okay, John is the currently, right, John is a sales manager, and he is taking care of the north region. Let's now John got promoted as a AVP, assistant vice president sales manager. John got promoted now. As you move up the ladder, obviously your responsibility. So now he is supposed to manage north region, south region, these two regions. So when you shared the report to John first time as a Power BI developer, right? So you restricted him to view only the or you allowed him to view only the north region related data. Since he got promoted as AVP sales now you need to make changes to your parameter. So there you need to specify, hey, allow him to view these two, or allow him to give him an option. So you should be able to choose north and you should be able to choose south also. So that if you want to see north related data, you can see it, south related data, if you want to, you can see it. Let's say you have another guy, let's say, his name is, her name is Ruth, and she is responsible for east region. So you are right in the parameter, you already specified east, then she should be able to view only the east region. So in that case, what will happen is, you are allowing the users to only view their respective regions, so that the query will be generated. The query will filter only the north and south region. Let's say in your table you have 100 million records are there. Instead of allowing each and every user to view 100 million records, let's say north and south region itself put together just 1 million record is there. In that case, the performance will be faster, because he is going to view only the 1 million record. Okay, and in this case, Ruth, east region is just, recently they opened a retail chain there, only 10,000 records are there. Out of 100 million, right? She should be able to, my entire table has 100 million, but east region has only 10,000 records. If I don't restrict the user to, use login only with, it's kind of, login only with east region, or login only with north and south region, right? If you don't specify this, what will happen? Each and every person will, query 100 million records. It will literally slow down the performance. This is one of the advantages of that. And also it will simplify the process of release management. This is another use case. For example, once you develop your report, right, the release management, what we do is, you see in the development folder, you have developed a report. Let's daily sales, something like that, daily sales .pbx file you created and you put it in the development folder, and this one will be moved to the test folder. Folder is nothing but workspace. So once you develop the report, let's say you tested the report, everything is fine, the performance, everything is good. Now you are informing it to your release management team or testing team. What they do is they simply copy your script from year to year. If there is an option, it will automatically push this script to this one, test folder. And then we have something called UAT folder. Right? See, the report file, you are copying it from year to year. So daily sales, same file, but the database is different. So this is a development database, this is a test database, and this is a UAT database, and you have some production database. Let's say you are the release management, you are part of the release management team. So what you are doing is, you just simply copy it from year to year, and you are copied from year to year, and then you copied this one from year to year. But the underlying data for each folder, right, for this report is different. For this report, it has to pick up the data from test folder, test database. For the production, once you copy pasted it here, this report, the data in the report should refresh with the production database data. Got it? So in that case, the release management person, right, you need not to open your report, and you need not to go to the property, and you need not to manually specify, hey, here the test database name, here you use UAT database name, here you specify, you don't have to have the programming background. As a release management, the release management team member, right, release management engineer, let's say he's an engineer. So he is doing release for different applications, different programming languages. You need not to open each and every report. You need not to see, it requires some programming background. Forget about the programming, and also opening the report and changing the database name for each and every environment, right? It takes time. It's a time taking process. And on top, when he opens the report, right, while making changes to the test database, right, you see this report should point to test database. The same report, when you copy it here in the production environment, you need to open that report and specify, hey, pick up the data from production database, not from the developer or development or test folder. When you opens it manually, when you change it, you might tend to make some other mistakenly, right? All I have to do is just specify the production database name. While doing it mistakenly, in the next line I put some dot. What will happen? Entire report will fail. So what we do is we use query parameter in this use case also. So in this scenario, what we are doing is we are specifying the parameter in this report. So for the source location, there is some source location, there we choose the parameter. So whenever they open the report here, automatically it will ask the database name. There only you have to type the database name, automatically goes and picks up. When you move here, so this makes the release management team's job simple. The other advantages, you are allowing the users, this is another scenario, two different scenario, right? So you are allowing the users to view only the location which they are responsible, right? So you are limiting the users to view only their region related data. Another scenario is release management team. Okay, so for them also it is very much helpful when you enable the query parameter. And the performance point of view also it is much better. Instead of allowing the users to view the entire data, right, you are saving a lot of time here. So next, what are the steps that are involved here to create the query parameter? First of all, right, so by changing this query parameter, the specific data will be loaded in your Power BI model. That's what I said. Right? The John can access only the north region data. In that case, the north region data, if the volume of data is less, only that data will get loaded in your model. So why do I need to use query parameter? To prevent the end user to modify the parameters. And also this has to be controlled only by the Power BI modelers. There will be a central point of control, right? So you are a Power BI developer. You have created the parameter and you shared the report to your managers. They are not supposed to change the parameter. If you allow them to change the parameter, what will happen? Let's say John is supposed to view only the north and south region. Mistakenly, if you type all the regions, what will happen? It will take a lot of time because it has to access 100 million records. So that is why we are setting some kind of control, right? So that is also the reason why we use query parameters. There are three types of parameters. One is any, other one is list of values, and third one is query. And how do I create a parameter? There are 3 steps. First step is create the parameter, and then whatever the parameter you created, you need to map it with that specific column in your data set. For example, I want the country column. Okay, let's say I'm country column. So the US manager should view only the US data. So I create a parameter, okay, let's say country, something like that, okay, and then apply a text filter with the parameter called. So let's say I have a country column here. Look here, the country column. I go here, and then the country column equals a parameter name is, let's so country 1, something like that, US country, right? So when they select this one and when they click OK, what will happen is they are supposed to specify the country which they want to see it here. So parameter. There are 3 types of parameters, as I told you. The any will allow them to specify any value here. Okay. This is also advantage only. So in this case, you are not restricting the user. If they want to view the North America, they can view it. They want to South America, South Asia, all the regions if they want it, right? So they need to specify it. They can view it. You are a CEO of the company, right? You should be able to view everything, right? At any point in time, you want to see any location or any country sales performance, you should be able to type here and you should be able to see it. But when it comes to sales manager, they are supposed to see only their specific region. In that kind of situation, you can use list of values. And we have something else called query. Query and any, right? So query can be used for the CEO. You should be able to see all the countries all at once, and you should be able to select whichever country he wants to see it. You should be given free hand. The any is you can select one after another. So more or less same here. Anyhow, we will just go ahead and create a parameter. We'll start with any query parameter. So there are 3 steps involved. So with this demo you should be able to understand, okay, very clearly. What are those 3 steps? First step is we need to create a parameter. So how do I create a parameter? Just right beneath this queries pane, right click on it, new parameter. I'm going to click on it. Here I specify let it be there, parameter 1, or whatever name you want, you can specify it here. So here I'm going to leave it as it is, and any. So type of the query parameter is any. Suggested values, any value, okay, list of values, query, nothing. So this is a data type, sorry, this is a data type. So the decimal or date. For example, if it is going to be text, you can select text. And this is three types of parameter: any value, list of values, query. So I'm going to start with any value. I'm going to start with this any, first one, first option. Current value, I'm going to say something like I have used fact sales, right? So fact sales, I have something called, yeah, so here we have something called Bangalore, not country. I'm going to say Bangalore, BLR, okay. So I created a parameter successfully. So if you think, right, you made some mistake, you just click on manage parameter. If you click on it, it will take you back to this one. You can make changes. Let's say you are the Power BI developer, you have full control. You can create the parameter and you can specify whatever value you wanted, you can use. So what is my parameter name? Parameter 1 is the parameter name. Step 1 is over, we created the parameter. And step 2 is you need to go to this table, fact sales. Which table you wanted to attach this parameter. For example, here I have location key column, right? So what I do is I just here, right? So I just clicked on the drop down. You have something like text filters. I'm going to click on equals. So basic, advanced. I'm going to go ahead with basic. Keep rows where location key equals. Here if I click on this, you can specify Bangalore. This is hard-coded thing. You are not supposed to specify the value directly here. This is not the best practice. So you have another option here. When you click on this drop down, you will find parameter. Two options. One is text and parameter. Text is not the right way of doing it. Don't specify Bangalore. Supposing when I open the report, I should be allowed to type whatever the city name I wanted. I should be able to type it there. But if you specify BLR here upfront, and if you send me the report, when I open the report, it will show only the Bangalore data. I will not be able to choose whichever location I want to see it. I cannot see it. So that is where we are going to use parameter. We have already created the parameter by the name of parameter 1, right? We create parameter 1, that's all. So I am going to click OK. First step is create the parameter. I have given the parameter in parameter 1, and second step is go to the column. Which column you want to attach the parameter? Creating the parameter not so, you need to attach it, you need to map it, right? Map it or attach it. So in the location key column, you map this parameter so that it will be dynamic. When I save this report and share it to you, it will allow you to type whichever location you want to view it. You should be able to view it. You should be able to type. It will prompt you, hey, you want to see Bangalore? Or you type whichever location you wanted. I will go and filter it and I will show you that specific location related data. So now step 2 is over. Look here, BLR, right? So why BLR it shows? Because I specified the current value as BLR here, right? BLR. If I specified PUN, Pune, it would have shown Pune only, right? But don't worry, okay. But you must be asking, here we hard coded, right? This one you can ignore it. Here you can specify it. I will show you this one, when to use this one. Look here, I just go here, close and apply. First step is create the parameter. Second step is we have assigned the parameter or map the parameter to a specific whichever column that you needed. In my case, I prefer location. See, I create so many functions unnecessarily. It is so okay. Let it be there. Oh, load got failed because of so many functions. Apply changes. This is one pain with the function when you create, right? If any function logic is not correct, everything will fail. Blocked by failures with queries. 1 second. Let me just go here. So you should be good at troubleshooting also. In case of any error comes, you need to be able to fix it faster. Anyhow, you don't have to worry about all these things now. And what I am going to do is I am going to delete. Sometimes it will say it is. All the functions, you see these functions already has some errors, right? I just remove this one. Fine, everything we removed, the unnecessary thing, and I just go and apply it now. Sorry guys, it's already 11. Please bear with me. We are going to finish it up with this one. So now no error, nothing. Fine. So we created a parameter and we mapped it to location key column. So now how do I test it? Click on the transform data, select edit parameters. Remember this. So here Bangalore. Instead of Bangalore, I say something. What other data we have it there? It will not allow me to. Let me just go here. What other countries, cities are there here? Fact sales. Oh, it is. This is the one from source system. Okay. Let me just create a table here, and then simply I drag in. This is another way of viewing the data. Anyhow, we need some visual to validate it. So let it be there. I'm going to put sales amount here. Each location, each city, what is the total sales? So here, So since by default we specify the current value is Bangalore it shows. Now I'm going to edit the parameters. Let's say I created this report, I shared it to you. It is in your desktop. So now what you are going to do is you need to specify, I think CHN is Chennai, right? So you just type the Chennai location, click on OK. And this table will show only the Chennai related data, Chennai sales. Look here. So you are giving the free hand to the users to select whichever location they want to view it. The salespersons, they can specify the location name here. So here we are allowing them to see any location, but still the advantage here is each time they can view only the specific location. They query only the subset of the data, not the entire data. So in that case, it will not cause any performance issues. There is another option that we will explore it next week. It's already too late. So already I got some SMS from people, others. Right? List of values and query, will explore it in the next session. Right? So we will circle back next weekend. Okay, it's already Sunday. So far, whatever I covered, including the script, I will share it to you all. start practice it, go through on it. With my video, you just take time to understand it. In case of any issues, please ask me. No shy, nothing. Alright? Fine. Any questions now? And again, see, don't think, right, it is too late, all the things. Yes, if you want to change, or if you want to change your lifestyle, if you want more salary, obviously you need to